Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I'm in South Haven, as you're about to hear, because the planes are going by. I am at Skylar's therapist. I'm outside waiting for her in my car, and you will remember that when I do a car vlog from here, we hear jets going by because the Memphis airport is just a little way up the road. I don't mind it. I absolutely love the sound of jets. I lived in Houston. I always say Houston. I was actually in Humble, Texas. We lived right by the airport and loved hearing the jets going overhead. That's not what this video is about. Okay, this is on my Growing Up Crazy channel. If you don't know about this channel, it's where I initially talked about being brought up with a narcissistic mother, and now I've kind of changed my tune a little bit since my mother died, and I just want to continue this channel because I know a lot of those old videos have helped a lot of people who have gone through the same. But now I can actually say I'm a survivor of narcissistic abuse because it's actually over. I never could call myself a survivor before because I was still living with my narcissist and caring for her. And now it's a whole new world for me, so I want to give you guys an update. Right now it's February of 2023, and my mother died in March. So we're almost just a month short of the anniversary of her death, 1 year. So I've been 11 months now on my own. And it was an interesting ride for me this past year. Again, if you don't know where I'm coming from, I grew up in a toxic household filled with trauma, with a narcissistic mother, and it led to all kinds of problems in my life, including just me really growing up thinking there was something very, very wrong with me, up until maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I learned about narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. That's when I woke up and realized it wasn't me. So there's a whole history there. My concern was that if my mother ever died before me, she lived till 99, and I did bring her from Maine to Mississippi with me while she was in hospice care. So she was here the last, 5-6 months of her life. I think it was like 6 months. And she was in hospice care. I don't know if I just said that. And so, we knew it wasn't supposed to be long, but, I really thought she was going to make it to 101, which is what she always said she was going to live to. It's funny that I have to be afraid even in this parking lot. I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to parking lots. I was afraid that when she died, if she died before me, because I was convinced I was never going to be able to experience life without my mother, but I got to experience it, at least up until now. And, God, I thought that was Skylar because that woman had red hair. I was worried that I was going to forget my past and then believe that I really did imagine it all like my mother always told me, because she never validated anything. And I was like, what happens when the trauma and toxicity is no longer there? Am I going to forget that it ever existed and then feel very, very guilty about our relationship? So I would record her. I have a lot of recordings so I could remind myself, no, I'm not crazy. That really happened. And I said, if I never watch them, that's okay. I know they're there. And I have not had to watch them. When she died, I was lost for a couple of months because I no longer had the responsibility of caring for her and the stress involved. The physical part, I can handle that. The mental anguish that I would go through on a daily basis or a near daily basis, that was the tough part. Very, very tough. So I didn't know what my purpose was anymore. I mean, I I always knew my life, well, I shouldn't say always. When I learned about narcissism and learned that there was nothing wrong with me, that it was all a mother thing, a narcissistic mother thing, I was very, very mad at first that my whole life was wasted, because I could have had a very different life than what I had, without the trauma and alcoholism and eating disorders and just fear of everything, and believing that I was just bad, just damaged, no good, never would be good. Always being told by my mother that no one would love me, no one would like me. You know, it was just an awful way to be brought up. And it's even worse than that, but I don't even care to dwell on the worst right now. Hang on. So I spent a few months just so incredibly angry that I did not ever get the validation that I wanted, and that now there was no chance. Now, the no chance of validation, it was a good thing, it was a bad thing. It made me sad that I never got that after putting in 62 years of my life, because I started taking care of her, I think, from birth, at least as long as I can remember. So that pissed me off, and it made me mad at myself that I stayed with it all my life, except for a 3-year stay in Houston when I got married. But, you know, we came back. I came back. Jeez, hang on. I can't believe planes can take off that fast, one after another. And it makes me forget what I'm talking about. Okay, so anger. I had a lot of anger. I was mad because I didn't get the validation, and then I was mad at myself that I stayed with it. But I know that I did the right thing for me. I know I stayed because I forever wanted to believe things were going to be okay between us. You know, that she would finally just snap out of that. But yet I knew that was never going to happen. It was an illness for her, you know? So that's why I was mad at myself, because I was hanging on to hope that was never going to happen, and I knew it was hopeless, and, you know, I don't know. So the anger then started turning into extreme sadness for the fact that I lost an entire life where I know that I could have done such awesome things, because I do know that I'm a good person now that I know I'm not crazy. Hang on. I'm going to have to shut my windows, because not only is the jet loud, but the person next to me has their windows open, and I'm fucking talking like this. I have no clue where I left off. It's still loud. I'm sorry, you guys, but I really want to record right now. The anger was turning into sadness because I feel like I lost my whole life. Yeah, I think I was saying that. I know I'm a good person after I, realized that I wasn't all those things that I was told all my life. Up until, I don't know, I think I was maybe 50 when I realized she was a narcissist. I'm 62 now, so for the past 12 years I've been dealing with the fact that I know this shit. So it was almost easier when I thought it was me, because I could accept me being an asshole, and a sick and twisted daughter who the devil followed all the time, shit like that. But, it's easier to be mad at myself than to be mad at my mother. But anyway, so when I started getting sad, I was really, really sad. I was crying every day, and I probably did that for a couple of months, and I wasn't talking to you guys about it because I didn't want 1,000 crying videos, and, I was really so lost, so mad, and feeling so sorry for myself that I didn't have what I actually deserved. I'm a good businesswoman. I think of how how I could have done such wonderful things early in my life, you know, if I would have been secure and had enough self-confidence. But I fucking drank it away. It was only as a sober person. Well, actually, no, I did start my businesses while I was still a drunk. So I can't say I was sober before I did that. But, you know, I was a drunk running a business. I was always hungover and all these things. So, isn't this a lovely story? So the sadness got to the point where it was so bad that I don't want to even think about it. I'm going to get through this. I didn't even want to get out of bed. And it's a different feeling when somebody dies and your sadness is because that person lived and gave you a life that was traumatic and painful and scary. You know, I wasn't sad because my mother died. I was sad because that all happened. And so, you know, that's a very confusing thing too. Even though I know I'm in the right to feel the way I do, it feels like, I don't know, it almost feels like I'm missing out. I didn't even get to mourn a death. I mourned the life. That's fucked up. That's backwards. So I ended up actually telling you guys that I was struggling. And I looked, and that was like 3 months ago. My phone, I couldn't see like when the date was, but we're in February right now, so I think November. And I know it was coming, you know, toward the holidays. And again, the holidays still stress me out. They were stressing me out, not because my mother was gone, but because we had horrible, stressed out, dysfunctional holidays in my household, you know? So, and Derek agrees with this because he lived with his grandparents, my parents, he lived there growing up. So, it just still stressed me out, even though I knew I didn't have to worry about it anymore. But I ended up talking to you guys, I think from the parking lot, maybe at Dollar Tree or Walmart, but I was in my car, I was crying, I was spilling my guts about my sadness and my regrets for not having a better life, because I try to not be mad at myself for not getting me out of that situation. But when you're a teenage drunk and a teenage mother, you are not in a position, and with no upbringing of ever being self-confident and being prepared to ever be an adult, there was no way I could escape from that. There just wasn't. So I'm not mad at myself anymore about the fact that I had that kind of childhood and that I wasn't more aware. I couldn't be aware. I didn't know. I did not know what was going on. I always blamed it on me. And then the fact that I stayed through it, again, I did what I thought I needed to do, what felt right to me. It was scarier to get away from it. So when I talked to you guys from the car that day and was crying, I might have talked a little bit more, a couple videos after that, but it was the best thing I could do. I was ready to get it out again, and by doing that on a video, it did. I was releasing all that, and since that time, things have really turned around. And it was also about that time that I learned about high-fat carnivore. So I had something different to focus on, because I'm carnivore, 6 years eating just meat and meat products, but now high-fat, I'm eating more fat than protein, and I'm going to do that till the end of June. And if I'm still loving it like I'm loving it, I will, probably just continue doing that and not just go back to regular carnivore. So I had that. I had spilled my guts and talked it out, said things out loud to my audience who is willing to listen to my shit. And then I just think I went through enough sadness. I went through enough anger and enough sadness that now I was ready to start something new. And I did. I made changes. I cut down on my fabric business, and to give me time to start going out, to buy some clothes, to do other things. I was at that time going to the library for silly little classes that I truly love and enjoy. But, now I started to do more things with Derek. I mean, I was going to when he played, but I went out a couple times with him when they weren't playing, just so I could be with him and do other things, even though we were, like one time in the bar, and I was able to just sit with him and, you know, listen to the band and stuff like that. So I started going out a little bit more, and I just started trying to take care of myself a little bit more. And the high-fat carnivore, you know, after having lost like 80 pounds, that was at a standstill for a long time. And then the high-fat carnivore just really started letting that happen again. So that was good, and that lifted my spirits a little bit. So I think now that that I'm in this state of mind, I'm pretty sure it's going to stay this way. I think I could have a nice life starting at 62, but I feel hopeful again. I feel hope. I don't feel despair and like I've just wasted everything. I still know that it could have been so different, and I'm sad about that, but now I'm trying to not look at the past anymore. I think I've done enough. Enough work, all these 12 years or whatever that I've known about narcissism. As a sober person, I was able to do the work. I never would have even known there was work to do as a drunk. I just always just thought I was a loser, a failure, whatever. I was just happy to be able to have booze to numb it all, you know? But now, as a sober person and doing all the work that I've done over the past 12 years, I think that I was very prepared in a way for her death, even though I was afraid it was going to be horrible for me. You know, again, like, you know, going through the, you know, oh my God, what if she was right all this time? But no, I know what my story is, and I stand by it. And you know, it's going to be a year in a month, and I think I'm about as good as it's going to get, because I feel pretty damn good lately, and I'm going to stay eating the way I'm eating, and I absolutely know, if you guys stick around long enough, you are going to see me at a very much lower weight, because I was not meant to be a drunk, to be obese, to be a food addict with eating disorders. None of that shit would have been what I was doing if I would have had a different upbringing. So I am able now to just say, look, I don't have that life, but I have the rest of my life, no matter how long it is, that I can just drop all that shit and everything's going to work. My body is going to be back to something that it was meant to be. I have zero issue with food. Zero. Carnivore saved me. It saved my fucking life. And now high-fat carnivore is going to save me even a little bit more, because I feel fucking awesome on it. I can't help it. I can't help it swearing, because I feel so fucking good. I can't tell you how good I feel. All right. I think there's hope for me, and I'm going to continue to go out. I went to Derek's ribbon cutting. Derek and I will be doing a video. I know that if you're watching my other channel, if you're watching this channel, you probably watch my other channel, so you probably know. But in case somebody's here and they don't watch my other channel, we're doing a ribbon cutting video with a video premiere on Monday, February 13. This is 2023 at 7 p.m. Central. And the video will be published, and Derek and I will be there to do a live chat with you guys. So, okay. It's a typing in the comments. That's the kind of chat it is. You know there was a day that I would have never gone to a ribbon cutting unless I was drunk. I mean, there's just no way. But I mean, I have been sober long enough that I know I can do those things, but they can be stressful for me. I, go out of obligation, and, it's like, geez, it's not something I feel like doing, but I actually feel like being around people a little bit. This is new for me as a sober person. As a drunk, I was a social fucking butterfly, but as a sober person, I have no interest in people. At all. But I'm starting to have interest, and I think I did an okay job. I know Derek and I are going to be talking about the ribbon cutting, and I have a story for you, so you're gonna want to be there for that premiere. I think I'm going to be all right, and you know, I don't need a fantastic life. It's not like I regret that I didn't do all kinds of traveling, or I don't even care to do that now. I mean, I'm content having a career that I love, and being near Derek and Skylar is just amazing. I mean, I would be so alone in Maine, so alone. I would have absolutely no one. I didn't even have friends because I don't know. I mean, you know, most of the friends I had, they were friends that I drank with, so it kind of all, you know, went away. And you know, and then I kind of got stabbed in the back by another friend, and yeah. And see, I'm not going to put up with stuff like that anymore. I will never be around anyone who makes me feel anything but good and who treats me nice. I will not hear negative things. I will not hear tolerate anyone not having my back. I mean, I just won't. So that makes me very happy that I'm in a place where I don't give a flying fuck about hurting someone if they treat me bad. I have boundaries, and I am going to live by those boundaries. And, you know, I cannot have anything toxic in my life anymore, ever. So I want to just be around nice people, kind people, mentally stable people, you know? Not alcoholics, not drug addicts. You know, I want somebody who's fully cooked and is okay, because I feel like that's where I am now. I'm obviously you know, stable in many ways. I've survived all these things that I went through, and I'm not doing any of those things anymore. I don't need help financially. You know what I mean? I'm in a very good place, and I'm not going to let anybody destroy that for me. All right? So this is all I wanted to say. It was a mouthful, wasn't it? But I just wanted to, you know, update you guys, because I don't think I've talked too much about how I'm feeling since the crying videos there a few months ago. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good mentally. I'm feeling great physically. I'm in a good place now. Does that mean I'm never going to be sad? Oh, of course not. Everybody's sad, gets sad. But I think the lifetime of misery, I think that has somehow magically gone away. And I do not try to let it enter my mind. As soon as I start thinking about, you know, something traumatic or, you know, scary. I had a lot of scary stuff done to me as a child. Scary. And still at night I can remember the horrors, you know. So, I try to just, you know, put something on my iPad, whatever. I will try to think of anything that it will take my mind off that. I don't want to visit the past anymore. I did my work. I'm good. I can let that go finally. And it took my mother's death for me to be able to let it go, because obviously I couldn't let it go when that stuff wasn't still happening. My mother was an old woman. She couldn't hit me. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But it was always a trigger. I guess that's the best way to say it. I always was constantly reliving my childhood with my mother, and then constantly trying to get validation. And that would always turn into a nightmare. So all of that is over. All right? Thanks so much for watching. No, just kidding. But seriously, you don't know how much it helped me that I was able to talk to you guys all these years, 8+ years on YouTube about all this stuff. And, you know, and I'll still do updates, because you know, things might change. You know, maybe I won't get, you know, go backwards and start getting sad. I hope that's not, you know, the thing. I hope I'm not crying on videos and saying, oh my God, I am crazy. I was the bad one. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And I'm not even mad at my mother. You know, if anyone, I'm mad at myself. But like I said, I didn't know any different. I didn't know how to escape that shit. But I'm not mad at her either. That's how I know it's over. The healing is done. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at anybody. You know, I just want to, like, now take a big step and just go have happiness. All right? And I wish that for all of the other survivors out there, because there's many, narcissism is big, you know, being talked about a lot right now. And I know what people go through. So, you know, there is hope. There is hope out there. Bye.